these energy exercises will help maintain cognitive functioning and, and help to keep your mind vital and strong and your memory good. So we're going to start with the crown pull. The thumbs go in the temples and the fingers are placed on the forehead. You want to press in and with some pressure pull out towards the temples and then shake it off. And we're just going to inch up slowly, pulling deeply and strongly across the scalp, opening up the scalp so that blood, oxygen, cerebral spinal fluid, and energy can flow more freely throughout the head. You're going to keep inching back down the back of the head and even down the neck, opening up the neck. And then resting on these big muscles here for a few deep breaths. And then you can end with the hands crossing and over the heart for a few breaths. That's called the crown pull. The next thing I want to talk about is if your head feels tight and congested and kind of like, you've got a cap on that's just too snug, you can try placing the backs of your hands against your head and staying here for many deep breaths, maybe up to 30 seconds, and then placing the backs of the hands somewhere else on the head. You want to eventually cover all the real estate of the scalp and head with the back of your hands and holding each place longer than I'm doing right now for several deep breaths or up to 30 seconds. You should either feel a sigh, a deep breath, a relaxing, and an opening again of the whole head region, opening for the energy to flow more freely. The next thing we want to do is a tie flow. Obviously, it's because it's right where the tie would go, that's its name. But we want to open up the neck. In our culture, we live in our head so much that we can literally become disconnected from the rest of our bodies. So opening these necks up can help the energy to flow not only to the rest of the body, but help as we bring in fresh energy from the earth, that it has a pathway to flow all the way and feed the brain. The next exercise we want to do is the cerebral pump. And this one is consciously bringing blood into all parts of the brain, feeding the brain with fresh blood. And we're going to do this by placing one hand over the middle of the chest and the other hand goes along, the palm goes right above the ear and the fingertips rest lightly across the top of the head. You should always do this exercise sitting down, as it can make you dizzy sometimes. So in this position, we're going to take 5 deep breaths into the nose, out through the mouth. And I'm not going to do the whole 5 here, but you get the idea of what it is. So after 5 deep breaths, then the hand that was on the side of the head can go to the back, covering the back of the head. Again, the fingers coming up towards the top of the head. 5 deep breaths here. And then we switch. The hand that was on the head comes over the chest area, and the other hand comes to the opposite side of the head. Once again, 5 deep breaths here. And then the last one is the hand goes over the forehead with the fingers lying lightly on the top of the head, and 5 deep breaths here. So again, what you're doing is you're pumping more blood into the brain, feeding the brain with fresh oxygen and blood. The last one that we're going to talk about now is the main neurovascular hold. And that one is one hand going behind the head with the thumb resting at the base of the scalp, the other hand lightly on the forehead. This is most comfortably done lying in bed so that you can prop your arms up on pillows. As you can imagine how tired they would get like this. This is really a good exercise to use while you're thinking of a stressor or anxiety or worry, because you're retraining the brain to think logically, does not react emotionally, but to think logically and more linearly by bringing blood up to the prefrontal cortex, the logical thinking part of the brain, while you're thinking of your stressor. So again, you hold these points while thinking of the stressor until you can either no longer think of the stressor, it doesn't seem important to you, you take a deep sigh or deep breath, and you feel like it's time to release that. It's also a good time, this is a good exercise for feeding this prefrontal logical thinking part of the brain with fresh blood, because that's what the hand is doing, is bringing, again, blood up to that part of the brain. So those are just a few of the exercises, the energy exercises you can use to maintain a healthy brain throughout the lifespan. Thanks so much.